So we were at a dog beach earlier and had to leave, unfortunately. There was a dog, actually two dogs there. They were unfixed. And they were not aggressive, but they didn't have very good manners. They were young. One was 1 year old, another one was 2 years old. And they just kept jumping on other dogs, getting in their faces, jumping on them. And they were pretty big, so that's kind of unacceptable. The owners, unfortunately, weren't doing much to tell them that that was not acceptable. And Mishka doesn't like that. So when those dogs tried to do that to Mishka, he, growled at them and told them to back off, which they backed up for about a second and then forgot. So I figured instead of Mishka being aggravated and teaching the dogs what to do, we just go for a walk. So I went for a walk, we played with the ball. And you seem happy. Was that a good alternative? Yeah. Still get to spend time at the beach. Unfortunately, didn't get to play with other dogs too much, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You still had fun, right? You still had fun. Yes. Yeah. It's unfortunate when owners don't pay attention to their dogs. And like I said, the dogs were not aggressive. They just needed slight correction to tell them not to be jumping on other dogs. And other dogs didn't like it either. But other dogs were very intimidated by them, so they just laid down and were hoping for the other dogs to stop, but they weren't. So one little dog got jumped on so many times, he actually yelped. And then finally, the owner of the little dog took him away too from the beach. But the owner of the big dog said absolutely nothing and continued to let his dog play in a very, very not appropriate way, unfortunately. Yes. But I don't let anybody do that to my dogs. And my dogs also don't let any other dog do it to them either. And I just don't want to put my dog in that kind of circumstances where they always have to be on a lookout and protecting themselves and defending themselves. It's not a fun environment. So it's best to just leave sometimes. And actually, the two dogs that were there that were showing some behavioral issues, like I said, they were not aggressive, but they did know manners. One of them was a boxer, so pretty big dog and pretty hyper, and another one was a Great Dane. And when Great Dane jumps on another dog that is a fifth of his size, they can hurt him, even if it's unintentional. That's why whenever I'm at the beach with Blade, for an example, or even Mishka, I always make sure that they're playing appropriately and, being cautious of other dogs' weight and capabilities. Some dogs are smaller, some dogs are older. And Mishka is really good at changing his play style. Blade, I think, is still learning, but he never jumps on other dogs. But he might just start running around, and because he's so big, that's already intimidating to other dogs. But jumping 140, 150 pounds on top of another dog that cannot protect themselves is definitely not appropriate. And if you're an owner of a large dog, please be cautious and stop your dog from that behavior. And if you're an owner of a smaller dog, also be cautious and take your dog out of that situation because they're not having fun. It is not fun at all. It stresses dogs out. It can hurt them. And they might never have a great experience. And the whole point of taking the dog park or dog beach is for your dog to have a great experience. And you to have a great experience with them. But sometimes it's best to just leave.